Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about, I'm sure a lot of you that are seeing this, or if you haven't, I posted a reel like a few days ago just about how I became my dream girl and I kind of just started living my life for myself and I became my own main character and it changed my life. And I just wanted to come on and help anybody do the same basically. So one, I want to start off with just how life started for me. My main question a lot is, how are you so confident and where does your confidence come from? And I don't think I've always had confidence. I think confidence for me is something that I literally had to teach myself. I had to teach myself confidence in a very uncomfortable situation from a very non-confident standpoint in life. I was very confident from like elementary. In elementary school, I think I had the most confidence. Now I'm in more of a, Corona and all that is happening. But back in elementary school and all that, I didn't have the opportunity to be secluded by myself. So my confidence really was like, I'm confident in a group full of people and I'm confident enough to be myself in front of people. And if you look at old pictures, old videos, my confidence really was it was out there. Like I didn't have any problem with being out there with my personality. And people would say certain things. I mean, when I was in elementary school, my teachers, peers, they didn't hold back on me. They didn't hold back by telling me I was different and my style wasn't what was in and all that. But I didn't care. I was very secure in myself. For some reason, I won't say for some reason, I knew my stardom was gonna be something. I knew I was gonna be something. Like nobody could tell me I wasn't gonna be anything. And then I started learning that everything didn't come to me in the way I wanted it to around middle school. Around middle school, I think that was when I was first like, oh, things changed. I don't know, situations changed. That was the first time I like really, and in elementary school, I changed schools, mind you, like that wasn't my problem. It was this sort of like, there were mean girls, there were bullies, there was, me putting myself in situations that I shouldn't have been in just because I wanted to fit in. And that was a lot of middle school. Middle school was a lot of me being like, oh, it's not cool to stand out. It's not cool to be myself, basically. And I think that's where I lost all sense of who I was and all sense of what I was doing and where I was going, and I kind of just wanted to fit in. Fit in sounded better than just being myself completely, and mostly because you go into preteens and teens and you want guys to like you, you want girls to like you, whatever the situation is, you just want people to like you. And I think that that's where I was in a very like, if you don't like me, it's over, life is over. But in elementary school, I didn't care about that. I didn't care about people liking me. And I think from middle school into high school, a lot of my anxiety stemmed from middle school and high school, I can say that. But then going into high school, I switched high schools, which I think was I do recommend switching schools. I do recommend everybody can get that fresh start. And I don't know what it was about that, but it was just something where I was able to almost rebrand myself. And I was able to rebrand myself at a much more mature level. I think once I left one school, I was like, no, I don't have the most confidence, but I know that I can bring forth something, I can just bring something new to the table. And that was my superpower basically going into high school, and it worked. I mean, my high school experience was okay. It was a high school experience, and I think that I did all things I wanted to do in high school, but I still wasn't at my peak of confidence. I still was in that kind of comparison zone where a certain thing would happen and it would make me start comparing myself to somebody else, and just stuff like that. I was in a very comparing situation. But once I left high school, I ended up graduating early. So I think that was like one of the most beautiful things that could have happened to me. And I took a break from the people who were still in high school. And I took that time to I don't know. I just took time for myself. And I took time for myself, and then Corona happened and all that stuff. So once that happened, I think I had enough time, enough space, enough everything to be like, okay, this is what I want to do with myself. And my confidence started to stem from me being alone, me having to love myself while being alone, me understanding that the situations and problems that came to me weren't because of me. The whole world was going through it. At least I felt like the whole world at that point was going through awakening of self, or just of what is going on and what the situation is, and how the universe isn't really just targeting you, it's targeting everybody. And I think that that's when I was like, oh, like, I am not the only person who wasn't super confident. I'm not the only person who, you know, doesn't see myself in my brightest light. And I think that I had that time to learn myself, to get to know who I was and get to know what I loved, what I didn't like. Because I think in high school and in middle school and just being around so many people, you forget who you are. And you, even in college, like, you forget who you are, and you kind of just want to fit into what everybody else is doing, because it brings upon a new, I don't know, it just brings upon relationships. It's easier to get in a relationship if you can bend to that person. But when I was alone and when I felt myself and felt like what I was doing was okay, it was so much more easier to be like, hey, I love myself and I love everything that I'm doing. So that's my story, and I will stick on that being my story. But I think that confidence stems a lot from what is the situation. It's always a situation that makes you confident or not confident. Confidence comes from comparison, basically. If you're not comparing yourself to somebody, you should have the utmost confidence. Because if I'm looking in the mirror and I think that I'm big, I'm comparing myself to somebody that I saw that was smaller than me. Or if I'm small, I'm comparing myself to somebody that I saw that was bigger than me. Comparison really is the thing that stems confidence. And when I realized that I can't compare myself to any entity or anybody because my organs are working how they're supposed to be, my skin is looking how it's supposed to be, I have to respect my body because I'm stuck with my body for the rest of my life. And I think that's, my confidence came mostly from me being like, nobody else has this body, nobody else is living my life, nobody else has the exact same story as me. So if I can't respect myself enough in my story, I will never have enough confidence. And if I keep comparing myself to somebody who does not know anything about me, it's a continuing cycle. If you keep comparing yourself to somebody else is going to come where you want to compare yourself to them. Like, it will keep happening because you haven't programmed your mind to love you first. And yes, I still compare myself to people today, but my comparison isn't the same. When I used to compare myself to people, I would compare myself to them. I would compare myself to them by bringing them down to nitpick on myself, if that makes sense. I don't see it in myself. So instead of making them feel good about it, I bring it out as if it's a flaw. The things we do to people is what we feel in ourselves. If I say, oh, that shirt is ugly, or oh, da-da-da, you can change that in 5 seconds. But if I say, oh, her boobs are too big and da-da-da, at some point, my confidence level in my whatever area had to be low. Like, it had to be on the floor. So that's when I realized I can't do that. That was something I was doing a lot in middle school. I was just comparing myself to everybody. And it wasn't a comparison where I said, you know, I wouldn't say it necessarily to them, but it was something I thought. And your thoughts become manifestations. I can tell you a lot that when you pinpoint something on somebody else, that thing can come around and bite you in the booty so fast. Oh my God, it's actually insane. And when I realized that I was manifesting and my tearing down of other people, whatever, it was manifesting onto me, I had to stop. I had to stop because I knew that wasn't me, and that wasn't who I wanted to be. I think that brings upon the main character. Like, your main character is somebody who the main character isn't always happy. The main character isn't always gonna be, on 10. But the main character knows that this is their life and they have to fulfill their life for themselves. The main character is such a funny trope because it's like, okay, everybody can be the main character. You can be the main character, I can be the main character, whatever, because we can. But it's the main character of your own life. A lot of people get stuck being the background character. And I know I was stuck being the background character in my preteen and teen years for a while because it's not just you. You're thinking about all the other entities and all the other people and how they affect you and how they affect your day-to-day life. And who cares? Like, at some point you have to tell yourself, who cares? Like, if a background character got fired from work, we wouldn't care. But if the main character got fired from work, we have to follow that trope. We have to follow that storyline. And I don't think enough of us follow our own storylines. Like when we basically stick ourselves into the news, when we stick ourselves into what's going on around us a lot, the shade room, all these places, it's easy to get stuck in them because we don't see ourselves as our own main character. We see the drama and the lives around us as the main frontier when it's not. So I think that the thing about being the main character is putting yourself first, putting your lifestyle and what you want to achieve and all good things first. And I genuinely believe that anybody can be the main character. It's easy. Nothing about it is hard. I don't think that there's one person out here that can't be the main character, but I do think that we have to start putting our lives first and our situations first. Because if you want to be the dream girl, you can't be the dream girl and be watching somebody else's life like, oh my God, I just wish I had her life. No, go out and live her life. That's where the idea of faking it till you make it comes. And that can be a whole different video. But I think that manifestation is the purest form of faking it till you make it. It's faking it till you make it is manifestation's baby. And being the main character is also one of manifestation's baby. I think that in this new generation, Generation Z, we have found a beautiful way to turn all things that are already existing our own kind of lingo. And the main character, faking it, all these things, they're beautiful lingo, but I think that we're already doing, if you believe in your if you believe in the law of attraction, if you believe in manifestation, if you believe in your dream life, then you already are doing that. You already are the main character. So with that, I hope that helped just a little bit. I didn't know that my confidence was resonating on so many people, honestly, and I think that I am very happy to sit and talk about being confident because it's something I had to learn from myself, and I'm teaching it is no different. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love you guys so much. Bye.